Welcome to Freed on Business. He grew up in South Florida, has been in business here since the early 90s, and has closed over $3 billion in deals. He's seen it all. He always has an opinion, and he's always ready to share it. Informed, entertaining, and connected, he has his finger on the pulse of South Florida's business community. He's Jim Freed, and this is Freed on Business.
All right, everybody, we've got a great show for you today. This show was prompted by a number of phone calls and meetings that I've been having with young people from around the country, asking me what's going on in the marketplace and how can they survive until the next market cycle starts. So I'm going to bring my long-term experience. We'll talk about what I've been doing, what I see people doing, and we'll just go right into it. You'll see we're here at our temporary studios while they're doing concrete restoration upstairs and making my office into a hellscape. So want to thank, as always, our friends at Warren Henry. They've been sponsored this show for 12, 13 years. The show's been on for like 14 or 15. We're coming up to episode 750. Mr. Mendoza, you're gonna have to tell me how much longer we have to go on until we get to episode 750. Got to do something special for that. Today we're going to be talking about how to survive in the market and what's going on. Again, I want to thank our friends at Warren Henry. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry. They've got stores all over Florida, from their Audi store in Gainesville to their store in Key West that sells all their different vehicles. This is episode 744, so I guess the first or second week in January is when we're going to hit episode 500. We're going to have to tee up for that. And now into our show. Basically, hold on. I usually don't make notes, but this time I did. Let me get my notes up. What's going on, Mr. Mendoza? Okay. So I was talking to one of the senior lenders here in the marketplace, a person that runs the state for one of the big money center banks. And we were talking about today's show. So he kind of gave me some of his ideas also. We'll start out with keep pushing. That was his number one thing that he said. I would say keep pushing as well. I've increased my number of cold calls. That's right, real cold calls. Usually I only call people I know, but now I'm calling people I don't know, and talking to them about the different opportunities that I offer and the different things that I do. Staying connected with everybody, being positive, sending them positive information and positive ideas, telling them how things are going to turn. I think yesterday the news was that they believe that we're going to reach the peak of interest rates and they're going to start coming down sometime next year. I'm not going to predict that, but it certainly does make some sense to me. It's about time to start lowering those rates if inflation's under control. But what I really want to talk about is doing a lot of different things. Real estate is really in a significantly difficult position right now. And many different people are trying to find new things to do. The last time there was the Lehman Brothers cycle, one of the people I know went into selling windows and plumbing. Another went into selling construction services. So if you can find something that is an allied trade where you can call your contacts and sell them something else that you other than real estate or real estate debt or something, probably something good to do. I recently was approached by a multinational firm that does some very interesting acquisition of corporate assets. So I've been calling on people that do corporate mergers, acquisitions, and things like that. It's a brand new group. I started looking up the people that I'm calling on LinkedIn, and I'm absolutely pleased to tell you that very few, if any, are connected with me at all or any of my contacts. So it's very, very exciting to be opening up a new genre. And the genre also helps with my real estate syndication using Web 3.0 and real estate tokens. Because the reality is that more and more people are using those tokens to finance their transactions. I've had many calls this past couple of weeks with people from overseas. We're in the process of doing a lot of things with tokens, including opening up a brand new idea, which we're calling bridge to tokens, because if people can't raise all the funds that they need using the tokens, we'll be there with a debt fund to help them finance their transactions. So remember, I said it's about being creative and offering a lot of different solutions to people. and having something to say to just about everybody at that dinner party or the Art Basel function or at the real estate networking event. I go to a lot of these real estate networking events. Many of them are populated by people that sell services and products. It's an interesting time for people that haven't been through this before. There's going to be a dramatic slowdown in new construction. There's going to be it's been a complete stop in residential mortgages and residential lending. That's actually starting to pick up. Sometime in the next week or two, we'll have Ed Cairo on again, and Ed and I will talk about what we're doing in the residential mortgage business. But we've been talking to a number of international buyers that have been moving in from overseas, and we're helping them finance their home acquisition. They talk about how high the interest rates are right now, and I say, well, actually, they're relatively reasonable. They're talking about a natural landing point for interest rates at about 6%. That's only about 100 basis points from where we are now. And when I graduated college, interest rates were hitting 20%. People still bought homes, and then they just refinanced every 3 years as the rates went down. And they ended up with a much better interest rate than they started out with, and they got the home that they wanted. Remember, it's really about the home that you want. The payment does make a difference with the rates being double what they were just 3 years ago. But if you got your loan last year when everybody was complaining about loans with a 6 handle in front of it, just think how great you'd feel now being 100 basis points below everybody. So that's what's going on. Market conditions right now absolutely include the fact that the construction lenders are all out of the marketplace right now. There's very limited debt. However, I'm working with a few different banks that are still in the market for select customers. I'm working with one family that's looking to get permanent financing on shopping centers here in Florida and also up the Eastern Seaboard. I'm working with a bank, actually two banks, because we're going to split the risk, and one bank has one project in its territory, the other has its footprint covering another property, and we're going to get a permanent loan. And believe me, it's been a search. I've worked with this family. First, they wanted to close real fast and were willing to look at a debt fund loan. Then when they saw what the cost and timing was for the debt loans, they talked to me and a couple of national banks. The national banks made good quotes, but it ends up that we're going to do the deal with one, with the local office following a client out of state with one of the money center banks. And then we'll do another loan here in town with one of the local community banks. Yes, the community banks are still lending. That's why it's important to stay positive and have a positive mental attitude when you reach out to the community banks. If you just gave up and thought all the lenders were out of the market, then you just haven't been doing your job. For the right deal, the lenders are still in the market. So stay positive, keep in touch with your lenders, call people that you know are in the real estate business that do transactions, but also start calling people that are in allied trades and see if you can monetize your contacts in your database by calling other people, or monetize your skills by going outside the real estate industry and looking at something else. Like I said, I'm working very heavily in the private equity markets right now, helping to execute a couple of business plans for a multinational corporation that approached me. I was flattered, actually. They said they wanted to work with somebody that was a little bit, had a little gray hair, because the people that I would be calling would be the heads of the different silos at different law firms, accounting firms, private equity firms. And they wanted to have somebody that knew how to make a dynamic phone call, dynamic being changing, not that it's, fascinating and entertaining, but dynamic and able to handle whatever might come up on the phone call, and also to be able to have enough weight to be able to talk to somebody who's been in the business for 20, 30, 40 years. And so that's a good niche for me. I met with a young person today who's still in school at the University of Miami. And we talked about how he goes, oh, I want to be a developer. I go, are you sure you have the right temperament for that? And then one of the development partner friends of mine walked in. I said, here's a person you should talk to if you want to be a developer. Then my lawyer, who's also a real estate investor, walked into the coffee shop, and I introduced him and said, maybe you want to be a lawyer and be an investor like this person. And then one of the top retail leasing people came in to grab a coffee, and I introduced him to her, and a totally different person. absolutely spectacular personality, sparkly, the marketing person. So you had the attorney, the developer, and the marketing person. Which one are you? Which one is he? He's not sure. I'm sort of all three. So you have to find out what your real role is. And also, I think it's safe to say I'm also an innovator with my token business that we're doing. That's taken off. I think I may have said it earlier, but if I didn't, we're working with a group out of Brazil that looks like it's going to at least tokenize a bunch of assets from Brazil. And they've actually asked to white label our system to do the rest of Latin America. We're just went on the the Singapore Alternative Exchange, and we're looking at doing that with other countries as well. And we're negotiating with one of my clients to become a fund manager for them. Oh, hold on one second. On my podcast now. I'll call soon. That's another answer to the question. That's a high net worth investor that I've known for quite some time, and I'm speaking to him about alternative investments. In fact, in this particular instance, the phone call will be about what I'm calling bridge to tokens, because the tokens won't necessarily make up the entire amount of the capital needed, and debt funds and high net worth investors will be there to offer gap financing for 3, 6, 12-month period. We've already got that negotiated with a couple of different debt funds. So the token thing is maturing. Next year should absolutely be a tremendous year. You heard me talking to Pat Lavecchia from Oasis a couple of weeks ago, and he said 2023 would be the positioning time, and 2024 was when they really were going to see it start taking off. And he mentioned how Apollo and other main international groups are working with the Oasis platform, and the Oasis platform is more economical than any other private firm that I've seen to raise investor equity from through their immense broker-dealer network of small, mid-sized, and large individual investors. So, Mr. Mendoza, let's take a break right now, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about some other strategies to make it through to the other side of this dynamic real estate economy. Mr. Mendoza, it's yours. You do that every time, Mr. Mendoza. You always have a video to put in the middle that is right on point with what I'm talking about. So we'll talk about space and technology in the next segment and its impact on the real estate business. I want to thank everybody for being here today and joining me. But the people I really want to thank are my partners for the last 12 years, maybe 13. I have to really look it up. Warren Henry. I want to thank Larry, Ismet, Eric, Maytal, of course, Warren, Gio, Jack, my man Jack, and all my friends at Warren Henry who helped make sure that I have a great vehicle, and so does my wife, and so does my mom. So if you're looking to buy or lease a car, we know you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why I have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar. And Lincoln up at 151st and Biscayne. They're building a beautiful new showroom for Lincoln right now. In Gainesville, they sell Audis. They've got a great Land Rover, Range Rover award-winning store down in South Dade. And in the Keys, they've just acquired Chevy, and they've got all kinds of great name brands down there in their Key West store. All great nameplates, and they all come with the Warren Henry Advantage. That's a long list of services. You hear it every week from me. Basically, it's it starts out with a loaner car if you need a loaner car. They make sure that they keep your car looking great. If you scrape your rims, they'll polish them up for you. If you lose those fancy keys, it costs a fortune, they'll replace them for you. They treat me like family, like gold. My mom loves going there. If you're trading in a car, they'll make sure you're getting the best value. If you're buying a car, they'll make sure that you're getting the best price. Leasing, same thing. They'll give you 3 days to return the car if you don't like it. So join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian, lots and lots of my friends and clients. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry. Well, you're getting a full dose of me today. I'm telling you all my secrets about how to survive during the real estate crisis. But this little segment is what's going to really drive it home. As you know, I'm Jim Freed. I'm founder of Sandstone Real Estate Services. What does that really mean? Well, I'll go straight to the bottom line. Just like Zach Thomas says, people don't pay attention after a little while. So I help other people solve their problems. I help them achieve their dreams and goals. That makes me feel great and bring a peace of mind. So how do I do that? Well, right now I'm helping a multinational corporation find new business by, I'll say it, dialing for dollars, cold calling. I don't think I've made cold calls in I don't know how many years, but I'm doing it now in a brand new silo of private equity, helping identify new opportunities for my friend who owns this multinational corporation, and he likes to invest in these types of properties and in these types of companies, not properties. It's about businesses, not about real estate, although the real estate could be a part of it. I'm doing all kinds of mortgages. We'll talk about that in the next segment. Mr. Mendoza reminded me to tell everybody the mortgages I'm working on. They should close just a little bit slower, but they'll close. And helping families execute their business plans. In some cases, I'm helping families determine what their business plan should be. So reach out to me, especially if you're questioning what to do right now, either personally or corporately. I can put my many, many market cycles of knowledge to work for you. And remember, whenever you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed 1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
Well, I mentioned I'm working more and more in the private equity world and corporate finance. I'm also working with the real estate tokenization industry. Those are a couple of far reaches that I've done to diversify my income stream as the traditional real estate market continues to be somewhat unstable. However, I have a number of real estate deals I am working on that I'm anticipating, God willing, should close, but I'm not going to specifically identify them because then I'm going to give myself a jinx. So we'll talk about them in general. In one case, I'm helping a small condominium do their condominium, actually in this case, 50-year recertification, elevators, swimming pool, corridors, everything, roof, getting red tagged by the county. So I'm helping them. I've got a community bank that will do this type of a loan. So if you know anybody who's on a condo board or condo association, they need one of these kind of loans. They're not easy to do. Reach out to me, DM me, all that stuff that I say. Another thing that I'm doing is I'm helping a family refinance their stabilized real estate so that they can cash out a couple of the family members. Again, remember, these are people that are needing to transact. The family that's looking to finance, the condo association that's under the gun, and doing a couple of residential mortgages from people that are moving in from overseas, seeking a safer, more stable environment here in the United States, and we're helping them. In one case, we have tax returns. In other cases, we don't. So, but we're working with them. We've got another reverse mortgage we're working on, a super jumbo reverse that sounds like a gymnastics thing. Actually, it is. They're capped at about $4 million, but they have incredible tax benefits. If you're the right person, it's the right thing for you. Let's see. So reverse mortgage. Oh, note sales. We're working on some very, very large note sales across the state of Florida and in fact, all over the country right now. Majority of them are in multifamily space. We've got a number of debt funds and a number of high net worth investors that we brought together to create a business. And we're helping that business find these loans, capitalize the transactions, and God willing, for our predatory type lenders, they're going to be able to get to the real estate. If not, they're going to get incredibly accelerated interest rates while the person's in default. So the note purchase game is back. It's very technical. But what's the most important thing to remember? And what's my favorite show other than Ted Lasso, of course? Well, I like Gold Rush. You go, why Gold Rush? Well, Gold Rush is what I do for a living. I go down there. In this case, when I'm doing the private equity stuff, I'm alone, making the phone calls, grinding away, digging for gold, panning for gold, dialing for dollars, calling for gold, building a brand new business for myself and my new partners. So it's incredibly challenging. It's something I haven't done, and let's face it, everybody. I'm looking into the camera here, but I see myself. So let's be honest. Making cold calls ain't easy. So how do I do it? I anticipate that I'm going to have a wonderful, fun time with the person on the other end of the phone. Yesterday, I made 20 calls, got to 2 people. One person was boarding a jet while he was talking to me. We had a great time. We talked about all the people around. We talked about what I was doing. We had an opportunity to build our relationship. The second person I talked to was Googling the firm that I'm working with while I was talking, and that created incredible credibility because I'm representing a firm that's done this before over and over again, and they're an isolated example in the space. In fact, they're probably the only firm I've ever heard of that does this. So I've got a unique situation where I'm calling a bunch of new people. I'm creating a level of excitement for myself so that I can project it to the other people, because let's face it, positive energy is what wins the day. Whether you're calling the people about your cable being out, or the IRS because you have a question, or anybody else. When I make these calls, a lot of times I'll get the person's director of first impressions, and I'm extraordinarily nice to them. I make my joke about, what's your name, sir? Jim Fried. It's spelled F-R-I-E-D, like Kentucky Fried Chicken. They crack up. And then I'm on my way. So it's really about designing a way to connect with people, being positive, and I almost forgot the most important part, being flexible. See where I am today, broadcasting from the card room of my condo building. That's because they're doing the concrete restoration outside. You remember the concrete restoration from a number of years ago and what that may have sounded like during my podcast. I wasn't going to do that to you again today. So reach out to me, DM me. Oh, another great idea. I went, I was in a fraternity at college. I went to the networking event, which a lot of other people had that idea too, because they said there were more people there than they've had in many, many years. And I sat down next to a guy I hadn't seen in 40 years. And what did he say? He said his son needs to get a residential mortgage. Can I help? Boom. You have to go out there. You have to be present. Today, I've got a happy hour I'm going to. I go to these happy hours. I go to the networking events. Tomorrow's Biz Now, capital markets and alternative investing. I could be the speaker. Maybe I will be. And, it's all about staying positive and trying to find something that's the next thing to do. So go through your list. Another tip is to find your top 25 people. Who are the 25 people that are the most important to you, that'll pick up the phone for you, that'll help? And, that's another thing that you need to keep in mind. So all in all, the most important thing, let's go over it. Let's recap. Stay positive. Reach out to your top 25. Diversify. Look into new businesses and new ideas. Find new trends. And take this as an opportunity to expand your horizons and who you're doing business with. It's extremely important. Doesn't matter what time of year it is. People are ready and willing to do business. You just have to find them. You have to pan for gold like they do on Gold Rush, and you'll see that the nuggets will come. I want to thank our sponsors, Warren Henry Automotive. They've been with us for 12 or 13 years. They're always 100% behind us. I must tell you how much I love Larry Zinn and the people over there. They have done nothing but treat us like gold. They're part of the National Kidney Foundation. Vivian was looking for her kidney. The Warren Henry family was right there. So thank you to Warren, Eric, Larry, Ismet, Maytal, Gio, Jack, and the rest of my friends over there that treat me like solid gold. When you're looking to buy or lease a car, you do want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you do have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, Jaguar, and their new Lincoln store up at 151st and Biscayne. Gainesville, they sell the fancy Audis. Down in the Keys, they just bought the Chevy dealer, and they've got incredible selection of all the nameplates down in the Keys. And of course, high five to Eric Day and the team for winning the award for the South Dade Land Rover, Range Rover store. Remember, they've got the Warren Henry Advantage. That's the list of services. Everything from the free loaner to the polishing of the rims to the key replacement to the guaranteeing of the best price when you buy or lease your car, to buying or to letting you return for 3 days if you don't like it. It's incredible. It's a great experience. Join me, my beautiful wife Vivian, lots and lots of my clients. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry. And join me every Wednesday at 12 o'clock when we drop a new podcast. Next week, we'll probably be talking about the residential mortgage market and how it's coming back and people are doing loans. If there's a top, we'll have Tom Handler on before the end of the year talking about things to do to protect your assets before the end of the year, maximize your tax savings if possible. So join us. And why do I do this? Because I love it. Remember, the person that wants to do something finds a way. The other finds an excuse. More important now than ever before. Go out there and make it happen. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Mr. Mendoza, the rest of the show is yours.